It's a magic weekend, Magic 8 to 8.
Magic 8 to 8. It's our Solid Gold Sunday. My special guest today, we're very pleased to welcome Sir Cliff Richard, who's with us live in the studio today for the final hour of our programme. Cliff, welcome to Magic 8 to 8.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Nice to be in West Yorkshire?
Absolutely. Always is.
Yeah, because you do quite a few dates around, well, not so much West Yorkshire, because we don't have a really big enough venue. It's Sheffield, of course, the Sheffield Arena.
No, well, that's right, yes. But I've been through Leeds many, many times. And, of course, Sheffield I know because of the arena and Birmingham. But of course, we drive by these places very, very often. The trouble is, those days have gone past now where we used to play Batley Variety Club and then stay in the centre of Leeds for a week or a 2-week period. And I used to like that, because then you got the feeling of the city, you know.
It's a great venue. It's now called the Frontier Club, and it's more of a disco theme. But they still have live acts. But that was a great place for a lot of people. The Wakefield Theatre Club was another one. And
it was good because it was so big. So although we were doing cabaret, you still had the feeling, though, that there were lots of people there, whereas most cabaret places you tend to think of as being fairly small, 500-600 people. And there, I don't know how many people it held, but it held a lot of people.
Yeah, about 1,500, I think, at least, yeah?
Like a big theatre.
Last time we spoke, we met very briefly at the press conference for Heathcliff. Now, it must have been a big disappointment for you when it was cancelled. You obviously, I suppose, decided it was your money and you wanted to get it absolutely just right, didn't you?
Yeah, it wasn't just that, though. I said on tour last year that perhaps it was my fault. I was perhaps a little naive to think I could get such a project together in that space of time. I thought there was plenty of time, because, I mean, normally when I'm planning a large concert, even the one that I did at Wembley Stadium, that didn't take anywhere near it. It took about 3 or 4 months to organise and 6 weeks rehearsal, and we were on.
That was the event, wasn't it?
That was the event, and that was massive. It was a 5-hour concert. So when it came to thinking about Heathcliff, I didn't realise that when you draw... See, the event I did all by myself. You know, I was totally in control of absolutely everything. But with Heathcliff, I can't do everything. I don't know how to direct. So I've got Frank Dunlop, who was for 8 years the director of the Edinburgh Festival, and he kind of invented the young Vic. So I needed someone who's really into theatre to help me. I needed a great lyricist, hence Tim Rice, and I needed somebody really good who could write pop rock music with integrity, and that's John Farrar. So the trouble is, drawing all these threads together, we all live in different worlds and we've all got other things to do. It was much more difficult than I thought. And we just weren't ready. We didn't have all the stuff ready. So I did my hit list tour and sang some of the songs during that tour, and they were received really well, which encouraged me. Because you know what it's like, you go to a show and to hear 3 brand new songs, In Amongst Living Dolls, Summer Holiday, Bachelor Boy, Devil Woman, We Don't Talk, is really tough on an audience. But their reaction was, well, as I said to them every night, they'll never know how encouraged I was.
Was that hit list tour already planned, perhaps, for a future date? Perhaps you planned Heathcliff for this year, and then, or was that just something just came along?
No, we decided last March, it was, I think, that we weren't going to be ready. And so I said, well, now we're in trouble now, because I've booked all the halls. Now, some of the halls we could cancel because we were just on that borderline. I think you've got like 6 months, and you can cancel without any loss of revenue. You don't have to pay for it, in other words. But then the other halls that we had, I was going to have to pay out a lot of money. I mean, I don't know what it was, but it was way, way into the million plus. And I thought, well, I like touring. Why don't I go on tour? You know, and I'd always wanted to do an album called The Hit List, a compilation album. And I thought, I know what to do. I'll do a compilation tour. So I got my secretary to write down all my top 5 singles. In fact, funnily enough, I've never had a number 5, but I found that I had 36 top 4 records, and it was my 36th year in showbiz. So we went on the road with that. And it was all, the idea was conceived, the stage was designed and built in that period between March and October.
Is everything ready as far as the music is concerned for Heathcliff?
Well, I said to John and Tim, I just need 10 songs for the album. And so, in fact, they got me ready 11 songs. So I recorded all 11 of them, but I thought, no, I'll save some of them so that not everything is given away on one album. We would probably have to have got into a kind of double album situation too, which I didn't want to get into. So we've done 10 of the songs, and there'll probably be 15, maybe 16 actual songs in the show. Plus, of course, as you know, if you've been to musicals, you find certain songs that have the right elements and you reprise them because they're the right emotions. And of course, there'll be musical pieces too, instrumental pieces too, 2 or 3 of those. So it'll be quite a musical experience, I hope.
Back with more from Cliff Richard in just a moment.
Magic 8 to 8.
Magic 8 to 8, my special guest is Cliff Richard. He's in town to tell us all about Heathcliff, and we're looking forward to that. Probably around next autumn we can be looking forward to that. And probably Sheffield. The Sheffield Arena was one of the dates that you booked originally.
Yes, I hope so. They haven't been confirmed yet, but since we've had to postpone the dates, it's very difficult to get them back again. I mean, quite often you have to work 18 months, 2 years ahead with these halls because they're so popular. And quite rightly, I mean, I think the Sheffield Arena is one of the nicest halls we play. Somehow or another, the stage, although it's a big place, you feel snuggled in there. I don't know why, but it has a very intimate feel. So I hope at some point it'll be available to me.
So how many dates are you looking at doing for Heathcliff? It's going to be very demanding, isn't it? So you need
Yes,
perhaps
it
have a few
is.
days in between.
Although, obviously, because we're playing these rather large arenas, if we were playing in the West End, you'd hope to get going for at least a couple of years. But we're playing 10,000-seater places. So if we can play 35, 40 performances, that'll be great, because I've been offered Broadway, and I'd like to think that once we've done it here and tried and tested it out and know that it works, I can take it there and then perhaps come back to the West End. But that's my plan.
Yeah.
I mean, best laid plans, they say, but you have to think optimistically and you have to be positive in our industry. It's a bit like the sporting world, really. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else will.
No, that's absolutely right. Okay, well, the hit list tour, we were talking about that a while ago, and of course it wasn't just a British tour. You went all around the world. You went to Australia, New Zealand, even went to South Africa.
Yes.
Pro rata to the record buying public. Were they buying things like congratulations the next time, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, pro rata they do, yes. I mean, that's right. And they're usually the same kind of hits. There's always, when we went to South Africa for the hit list, I had to change, I think, 5 or 6 songs. What I did was I changed 3 or 4 in Australia because there were a couple there that were hits there, or rather bigger hits there than they were here, and vice versa. When I went to South Africa, I found 4 or 5 songs. One was called 40 Days, which was never released as a single here, but it was a huge #1 there. So I put that one in and dropped something else that wasn't as big.
So presumably you have to learn the words. I mean, because there was a story about Peter Noon came over here to do a tour, and he's been singing all the American hits, the Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter, and all that sort of stuff. And some of the songs that were hits over here, he couldn't remember the words. Like 25 years on, he didn't remember the words.
Oh, no. Yeah, well, I did them at rehearsals. I mean, I knew that I was going to have to learn them. So what I did was, once I'd learnt the hit list for Britain, I knew that Australia was coming up next. So what I did was I got the 4 or 5 songs, and in the car going in from the show, I just played them over and over again, and they come back. Well, I find it's fairly easy. They come back to me quite quickly. And I did the same with the South African. Once I'd got rid of New Zealand and Australia, I knew South Africa was coming, so I got those songs out and just quickly went through them. And it was no problem.
Okay, I'm going to take a very quick break now, play my favourite Cliff song, The Next Time, which was from Summer Holiday, wasn't it?
That's right, it was.
Good. Any story behind that
No,
song?
yes, it was The Next Time. It was the Acropolis in the background, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Summer Holiday was fantastic because I made some new acquaintances who became good friends, like people like Eunice Stubbs, Melvin Hayes, Richard O'Sullivan, all people who actually went on and did wonderful things themselves. Jeremy Bullock.
Whatever happened to Laura Peters? She was one of the stars as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, Laurie Peters at that stage was about to get married to John Voight, the actor. And she did leave us, go back to Tait, get married. And I suppose, I don't know what it was, maybe she gave herself to her marriage, but seemed to pull out of the business. And I've never heard or seen her again.
That was a shame, because she was great, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
Magic 8 to 8.
Elvis must have been a major influence for you.
He was the influence.
Yeah.
No Elvis, no Cliff Richard.
Did you meet him?
No, I decided not to, because at the time I was there and I had the chance to meet him, he was grossly overweight. And I thought, no, Elvis used to go on diets for his films and things, and I'd wait till he, looked great again, because I always remember this animal that influenced me and thousands like me, of course, and I didn't want to spoil that image.
I remember going to the tour you did. I think it was the London Palladium, and it was probably the 20th anniversary tour. You did with Cliff and the Shadows.
The thing called Thank You Very Much was the album was called Thank You Very Much, and we did it there at the Palladium. That's right. Yeah, but that was a celebration of the Shadows, and I tend to get together every 5 or 10 years to celebrate this. We never thought we'd be here around this long, of course, but that was one of the first of our big get-togethers, and it really worked. And we've had a couple of others since, and I've no doubt there'll be every possibility of us getting together to celebrate the 40th.
40th, yeah,
or something like that. Yeah.
I know you're dashing around, so I'm going to let you go. America wasn't a great place for you. Certainly in the 60s, there wasn't much room. It was all the groups all the time, the Beatles, the Stones, mainly the groups. The solo artists didn't have so much success once the sort of Mersey beat era came around, sort of 63, 64. Didn't affect you, but a lot of the groups didn't. And likewise, you didn't have so much success, perhaps you were liked in America. But in the 70s, you came back and had a couple of top 10s, didn't you? We Don't Talk and Devil Woman.
I had, in fact, 9 top 30 hits, so I could have a genuine best of album in America, and they'd say, who? Because the single gives you no identity. You have to have an album success to
That's
have
right.
identity. But Devil Woman was the biggest one I had. It sold 1.4 million, and it went to number 4 in the Cashbox charts. So,
It was a great pop record, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Written by Terry Britton.
Good luck with Heathcliff. We're looking forward to the dates being announced and confirmed. Hopefully, you're going to be coming up to Sheffield.
I hope so.
And I hope it's a great success.
Thank you very
Enjoy
much.
the rest of the year.
Thanks for your time.
Magic 828.